Hey everyone, Tony George, DocSports.com. It's college football free play time. I don't think we've lost a college football free football play all year. Now, the haters out there, if I have, they'll jump all over it like stink on a pile of dog crap in a cantaloupe patch. But I don't think we've lost one. We've hit, what, 6 out of 9 for premiums? We're rolling. We got a big 7 unit play on Saturday in college football on potentially a 5 pack. I'm taping this early in the week on Wednesday to put up on Thursday for you. So this line might be a little stale, but as soon as you get it, jump on it for the free play. We're going SEC style. We're going down to Starkville and going to talk about the LSU and Mississippi State ball game. And a couple of things I wanted to bring your attention to this week. Number one is somebody asked me in the comment section last week. I didn't think I put the comment. I get hundreds of comments. I can't go through every single one of them. I do have to handicap games for a living, and that takes more than throwing a dart up against the wall and see what side of the thing it lands on. But talking about teasing these really good teams with these huge numbers down, you don't do teasers in college football. Sharp players don't. If you want to do teasers, do them. But they're not endorsed by me in college football. Teasers are for the NFL. Just letting you know. Still dealing with 18, 19-year-old kids here. You got to be careful. And speaking about the big numbers. Now, it's that time of year, 3 or 4 games into the season, where a lot of these elite teams are playing weak sisters in week 3, some in week 4. And they're laying huge numbers. And those elite teams now have got their bad game out of the way. They knocked off the rust. You know, they're reducing their penalties and turnovers and special teams blunders and, just stupid, silly mistakes, dropping balls wide open. They've knocked the rust off. They're getting their skills honed, getting ready for conference action in many cases this week and starting next week for sure. So they are going to cover some big numbers, but there's an asterisk next to that you got to be careful of. You need to start looking at who they're playing next week. What kind of game they came off last week. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a couple examples. Notre Dame's laying a huge number this weekend. What are they playing? Don't quote me, Central Michigan. I want nothing to do with that. They hardly even looked at it. But they got Ohio State on deck, and they're laying, 35, 36 points? Do you want to get out of that game healthy and have all your players for probably one of the biggest games of the year? You let off the throttle and put some scrubs in? Maybe you work on certain parts of your game against a weak sister. You can hone your skills out, like running the ball, blocking and tackling, football 101 stuff, getting ready for a high-powered opponent. You feel safe laying that number in that scenario? How about Texas playing Wyoming? What did Wyoming do the first game of the season? They beat a ranked Texas Tech team out of the Big 12, and now they're getting 28, 29 points against Texas, who is off the biggest win in the last 10 years. That's the biggest win they've had since they won the national title against USC when Vince Young was quarterback, Mac Brown was coach. And you got a conference opener next week against Baylor. How focused are they going to be for Wyoming? And by the way, Craig Bohl at Wyoming is no joke as a head coach. I've known the guy forever. Used to be defensive coordinator in Nebraska under Frank Solich. I used to interview him on the radio. The guy's a hell of a coach. Think Wyoming's going to come in here and lay down because Texas beat almighty Alabama last week? Maybe Alabama ain't all that anyway. Quarterback isn't. Not a good thrower. Just saying. You got to be careful with these big numbers. What's Texas want to do? They want to get out of there healthy. You think if they're up 24 points in the fourth quarter, they're going to keep Ewers in the game at quarterback and risk getting him hurt as we head into Big 12 conference season? Well, if they do, Steve Sarkisian is just an idiot. You don't do that. What I'm saying is take a look at each individual scenario, what game they're off of, who they got on deck, no matter if they're playing the Gramblings or the Texas States or the Central Michigans of the world, whatever. And by the way, Wyoming might have one of the best defenses in the Mountain West. Just saying. Free pick, LSU minus 9.5. Take them. Last week they put up 622 yards and 34 touchdowns against Grambling. They've won 20 out of the last 23 games straight up against Mississippi State. Their last 15 trips to Starkville, they are 13-2 straight up and 12-3 against the spread. They were 31-16 winner last year after going down 13-0 at home in that game. Mike Leach, God rest his soul, was coaching that game. They were a 3-point underdog last year at home. We're down 13-0, came back and won that game 31-16. People still have that image in their mind of them just sucking hind tit against Florida State. By the way, Florida State's a really good, they're top 4 team in the country. They're going to win the ACC this year. Just telling you. So yeah, I think they righted the ship last week, worked on some things, and I'll guarantee you one thing. Brian Kelly wants to make a statement to the SEC. Hey, I know we look like dog crap game 1 on national TV. We just showed the whole world our rear end. But guess what? We're still in the SEC, and we're still a viable opponent for anybody that plays us. And we're going to go down to Starkville, and we're going to prove it this week. And I think they do. I don't think Mississippi State last week got 5 turnovers from Arizona and had to go into overtime to beat them. Good luck against LSU. Doc Sports, 4-pack, potentially 5-pack, spread it around, a 7-unit top play, first one of the season, and guess what? This might be a whitewash with a very cheap line. Big time. We're going to be dialed in on Sunday as well in the NFL. We opened up 3-0 plus $1,080 for a $100 player last week, hitting a top pick. Going to be a good week in the NFL again, too. Doc Sports, place to be. Be there, be square.